we're back and we're going to be great for this last show, aren't we? We are going to be full of figure and remember to get our words out properly. Welcome to the masterclass. Today is all about animal antics. We've got loads of animal-themed products to show you, lots and lots of demonstrations, lots of things to get you inspired. And just sort of a good opportunity on a Friday night to have a little bit of a craft along with us and see what you're getting up to. All today I've been asking about your recommendations for books because I'm quite keen. It's National Read a New Book Week, month, year, whoever. I don't know how long it takes people to read books. I go through them quite quickly. I know other people might take a long time. The last Harry Potter book I did in 3 hours. I did dedicate myself to that Harry Potter book. But, you know, it's different for everybody. But do let us know if there's a book that you particularly enjoyed. Have a look through the comments if you wanted to see the earlier on shows. There were lots and lots of information. I've got them all written down on my piece of paper. So I've got loads of books to look at a little bit later. Luckily for me, I'm not on my own. I have the lovely Jan with me for the last show of the day. Jan, how are you doing?
I am very good, thank you. Yes, We've just been having a little bit of putting the world to rights, haven't we, in our break, and getting it all out of our system in the hope that we can actually bring you a show without any, well, I'm not guaranteeing any whoopses, but yeah, I think we've given Ben plenty of footage today for his wrap-up show. So yes, I'm hoping this one's going to be nice and straightforward.
I'm sure it will be. We're going to think positively for the rest of the show. As always, we're always giving you great deals, and this is a Friday, and that means we do Fiver Friday. Whew, I said that properly. Look on the website, we've got loads of great items just for £5. You'll be able to add up to your stash. You know, perhaps you're looking for something in particular. Have a look there, you might find that there's a great deal for you. And we're also doing some great deals on mixed media. I keep saying multimedia. Mixed media. This is your everyday is a school day. If you just click on that section on the website, you will see that there are some items there in mixed media that are 70% off. Really, really worthwhile having a look for those great deals. Because we always like to give you good deals, and we always like to give you good demos as well. Lots of people are here to say hello. I've got Lindsay, I've got Phil, we've got Donna, we've got Julie. Valerie says she's at work. And Valerie, it's your working hour. No, it's your birthday. Can't put the sound on and can't chat, but we'll glance as much as possible. I hope you're not a truck driver, is all I can say, Valerie. We don't advocate that, but I'm hoping you're having a lovely birthday. But I do want to know what cake you had, because that's quite important to me. Cake is important at birthdays. Jessica says, good afternoon, everyone. Laurie says, hello, everyone from Wisconsin. Crystal says, hi from College Station. Is that Texas? Not sure. Phil says, good evening all. Crafting, Not Grafting by Hilary says, hello from Northumberland. And Tim says, hiya everyone, happy Friday. Hope everyone is doing okay. We're doing okay over here. It's okay. I have a flapjack in my bag, so everything is good with me, I think. Right, the first thing we're going to have a look at are the animals with attitude, which I didn't pick up from down here. Where are they? Oh, there they are. No, these aren't them. There they are them. Why can't I find them? Oh my God, Becky, there they are. Oh, do you know what it is? I know we're doing pandas for the first demo, and they're like this, and these aren't pandas. So in my brain, look, 3 minutes, 51 seconds in, already gone wrong. Oh. I don't know. Animals with attitude. These are the ones I really like. How could I forget them? Because they're just gorgeous. A selection of stamps that we've got here. They are gorgeous stamps, really great for any colouring that you want to practice. You've also got those sentiments in there as well, which makes them a really good buy. The price is incredible, but I love the shapes and the images that we've got here. The first one we've got is all about sloth. This is sloth mode on. Look at those gorgeous little sloths. If I turn them that way, you can see their proper shapes. Look at them. That one with the little balloons. This one upside down. Oh my God, they're so gorgeous. This one, lovely. I mean, they're just all absolutely, do it the right way. These are absolutely gorgeous with all those sentiments as well. Great selection of stamps that you've got here. This one, who doesn't love a little elephant? Look at this one, fast asleep. And I think actually for new babies, that kind of thing, I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I love an elephant. My mum particularly likes an elephant. This is going to be the one for her. This one with the llama, I think they're so cool. There's really nice sort of imagery with those llama. You are a llama fun. What's that one? You're such a drama llama. Yeah, Nicola, that's exactly the one I would send to you. And this next one is, if you saw the first show, you saw the amazing demo that Jan did with these flamingos, and they're all balanced on top of each other. I think it looked incredible. It was the first show, wasn't it? Was it? It will be. We will be doing it in the vote. Yeah. Don't worry. Don't worry. We've got it all sorted out, Nicola. You'll see this one later on in demo of the day. But this flamingo one is gorgeous. This next one is the little panda one. I love this. He's very kind of. Is he dancing? But he almost looks like he's doing that Usain Bolt.
Kung Fu Panda, isn't it?
Kung Fu Panda, yeah, something like that. Absolutely good, gorgeous. Time to boogie, you are fantastic. Love these. All of these, 44 stamps in total. You get 5 different types of animal in here. Only £18.71 or $26.21. The platinum price is £14.97 or $20.97. We don't have a huge stock of these, and I still haven't put my order in, so I hope I don't miss out. If I do, it's my own silly fault for not trying to get them earlier on. Marianne says, hi all. Nanny to the girls says, afternoon or happy Friday. Gina says, good afternoon, everyone. And Charlotte Everett says, good evening, all my crafty lovelies from here in Herne Bay. As I said earlier on, we've got Jan with us all day, or for the rest of the show anyway, because she's been here all day. Any questions you've got, please just fire them in. If you're new to us, welcome. We don't bite. Lots of people we know are silent watchers, but we always like to hear from you. Even if you're just saying hello, this is your first time watching us. We're quite a nice lot here. We're quite pleasant. No, generally speaking, we're fine. We're happy to answer your questions, and actually you will find the community of all of the other viewers are full of information, and they're very kind and happy to share their experiences and their sort of tips and tricks with you. So definitely a nice community to be in with. Jan, you're going to be doing that one, aren't you, with the little pandas?
I am. I'm going to demo the pandas.
I'm looking forward to that.
I've just pulled out a few samples just to give you some sort of inspiration again, yeah. But I just think, you know, they're all of them adorable. If you like stamping and colouring, I just think you can't go wrong with these. They would cover so many different occasions. You know, we were talking about the little elephants being new baby cards. They could be, you know, you could go right to the other end of the scale and have them as retirement cards. You know, there is pretty much something for every occasion, and I just think, you know, whatever style you choose to put them on, make a splash, you know, why not? And then this one has been very, very clever use of stamps. So this one's by Katie, and again, you know, our design team's second to none. I always try and give them a shout out, because without them we would be struggling. I couldn't physically make all these samples to show you, so yeah, to have them on board. But I just think very, very clever use of stamping on that one. Make your own background papers with them, and the sentiment says it all, doesn't it? You are a llama fun. I just think it just speaks volumes, that one. You know, minimal colouring on there. There's only sort of accent colouring done on it. Really, really cute. And then we've got those pandas, which I'm going to come back to in a second. So yeah, your stepper card designs. I just think he's like, yeah, I just need a break. This one's doing all the jazz and doing the dancing. This one's having his dinner, and this, oh, I've had enough. I just think they're great. You know, drink, dance, sleep, and repeat. Okay, and then I've brought this one. I did show this one earlier, but I particularly like how that one's been used. So we've got the little sloth on there, and again, this has been mixed and matched with one of our cut and emboss folders that we brought out a little while ago. So just making those apertures behind there, they could easily, these are actually just a little see-through aperture. There could easily be a little shaker element behind there, and I love how they're sort of hanging on the balloons there. So yeah, a really, really nice set of stamps to have some fun with, basically. Great for sort of youngsters cards and things like that. This is the one that I made this morning in Wake Up Call using those flamingos. So we did sort of a tower of flamingos this morning. I was saying we ought to have had him wobbling a little bit on the top, as if to say, oh, hang on. And then I use the centre. I just think, stand tall and be fabulous. Why not? So we've just done the inside there to match. So that was this morning. We're going to stick with this size card, but I'm actually going to turn it into the landscape version today. So we're actually going to go along along with the little pandas. So great minds drink alike is the title of this one. And again, one of the sentiments. I love the sentiments that are a bit quirky, and I like the fact that you've got some, you know, you've got the different fonts. I love sentiments that have a mixture of fonts in them as well. Before we used to have access to a lot of the stamps and things, I used to make a lot of my own sentiments on the computer, print them out and use those for card making. And I used to mix and match the fonts back then. So again, you can see my stamps have actually got the masks over them. We were talking about this earlier with our masking tape. So these I have actually used. You can see there's an old one underneath there, which I've kept that one as well because they will all use. But you can see the yellow under there has actually been done out of a sticky note. Yep. But the actual masking sheets that we do, the masking tape now on a roll, you can see, you know, you get tons and tons of this on a roll. It will last you a long time. Just simply a case of popping it down. So I would actually put this straight onto my stamping platform and then stamp the stamps out and cut round them, fussy cut them, and this allows you to then mask if you so wish. Now for the masking technique, if you want to have a look back at the show that we did at 11 o'clock Wake Up Call, I showed you how to do the masking to get these little guys look as if they were stood behind each other. This time I'm actually going to set these out sort of all in a row, basically just to show off the stamps on this one. So I'm going to bring in my stamping platform. I've got a piece cut down to the size that I want for my card, and this is actually multi-purpose card. It could be Nina cardstock because again I'm going to come in with my alcohol markers. So you want a nice smooth cardstock in order for those alcohol markers to do the best job. Certainly wouldn't use them with watercolour card, it's way too absorbent. So this time I'm actually going to lay them out along here, and I'm going to stamp all three of them together. Okay, so we're literally going to go across like this, whoops, and literally just spread them out across. Now he's going to be sort of asleep on the log. This one's having a good old jig in the middle, and this one's having his cocktail on the end. So just decide whereabouts you want them, and we're actually going to stamp all those together because they're not overlapping this time. If you wanted to mask them and have them as a group together, whichever one you want to be in the foreground, so in this instance I would go with the central one. You want to stamp him first and then mask him with the relevant mask. Okay, and then you're going to stamp the others over the top so that they will overlap onto the masking paper, and then when you peel the masking paper away, this one is still in his entirety. So I'm just going to do these in a row for the purpose of this one. So yeah, we're going to have those all together. I'm going to pick all three stamps up at once. If you prefer to stamp them one at a time, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to bring in my alcohol markers again. So I've got my tri-blends at the ready, which are my go-to every time between these and the brush, tri-blend brush markers. So again, just be mindful of your stamping ink. You want an ink that's not going to interfere with your colouring medium. So for example, my alcohol proof ink is a water-based ink, and the water and the solvent don't mix, so you're going to get a nice firm line art that doesn't bleed. If I was to use a waterproof ink that is alcohol based, and my alcohol markers would start and make the outline bleed. Right. So if you're having trouble with that line art, just be mindful of which stamps which ink pads you're actually using for your stamps. So again, we're going to ink these up, and I've got my Flagstone ink again. It is tend to be my go-to one. Even though these are pandas and they're normally black and white, I am going to use a very dark grey to colour them, because I find again that the black can be quite a tricky one. You wouldn't think it would be for black. And also it's very final black. There's not much you can do to it, whereas the grey you can still do a little bit of shading with it if you wish. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're going to get those down there. We've got a little tiny bit there, and this is the beauty of having the stamping platform. That ink will still be on my stamp. So all I'm going to do is reposition it and just press that last little bit, and hey presto, I've got my stamping piece in place. So we'll pop that to one side, and I'll sort the stamps out in a second. And then I'm not going to colour the whole thing because, as always, I've got one that's actually ready. So I just need to take, and I think I've put it all away, just a scrap of card to rest on when you're alcohol colouring. It acts like a blotter. So the idea with alcohol is that you flood the cardstock. If you've not come across these before, if you're just joining us, you flood the cardstock so that you will actually see it bleed at the back, and that is normal.
Right.
So the reason I've put the paper underneath is if you're working on something that is non-porous, like the glass mat, and the alcohol starts to seep through into here, the only place it's got to go from there is back up through your card. So again, you might get that bleeding out of the edge of the stamps. So that's why I tend to put anything underneath. It can be a piece of scrap card, it can be a piece of photocopy paper, just something underneath, so that if you do saturate it enough that it goes through, this will absorb it and it won't interfere with your colouring. So what I've done is I've taken my 2 greys here. I've got ice grey. So one of these is from the original collection and one of it's from the additional collection. So I've got a series now of ice grey going from IG2, which is the lightest shade, all the way up to IG9. Okay, so I'm actually going to work with the slightly darker ones, and again I'm going to start with the lightest. I'm not going to colour the whole of it again, but just to give you an idea, and I always think at this point it's good to demonstrate what I call the flat colouring. You don't have to add shading if you're not at that level. Don't be put off thinking, oh, I can't do all that 3-pen shading, I don't know what it's all about, I'm not at that level. It doesn't have to be that technical. You know, you can just add your colour and what I call flat. Just that one layer, and they will look just as nice. And again, it's a case of adding the alcohol in, and that's why you want a nice smooth cardstock. And what I mean by saturating in it is usually I go over it a couple of times to make sure you've got a really good base. Okay, so again, just bringing this in. And if you're not sure where to put the colour, you've also got, you know, some indication. So I'm literally just following where the colour is on this little guy here. And again, you know, like we were talking about earlier, artistic license. You know, if you don't want a black and white panda, you can change it to any colour you want. You know, there's no law that says he has to be true to colour. So if you wanted a real fun design, you know, you could go for like a rainbow panda if you wished. Absolutely no sort of right or wrong. A glitter panda. He would be rocking away then, wouldn't he?
Yeah. He'd be the disco panda, wouldn't he?
Definitely, yeah. We need a little glitter ball, don't we, at the top there? So yeah, I normally pop a couple of layers of my base colour down, regardless of whether I'm going to add any shading or not. But for this one, I'm literally just going to leave it in that one shade. I'll show you the one that I've done where I've added a little bit of the mid and the darker tones. So again, just following the outlines all the way round. And it is quite therapeutic, you know, when you've got time to actually concentrate on it. I sort of lose myself in the colouring. You know, you think you've been busy for sort of half an hour and look at the clock and like 2 hours have passed by and the husband's like, we're having tea tonight, Jan, you know, and it's like, oh, sorry, I didn't realise what time it was. Just get totally immersed in it. And time, it's like a time warp when I go in the craft room. It's a time thief. But I think, you know, we're all the same. We all enjoy that time spent there, whether you know, crafting in your lounge. I know Hannah that joined us last week, bless her, she said, no, I'm in the lounge, I don't have a craft room. You know, wherever you craft, we just literally get lost in our craft. So I think we're nearly there. And I wanted this to be mainly black and white because he's a panda. I wanted that to be the theme, and I've just introduced what I call a spot colour. I just wanted a little bit of colour in there. I've got a little bit of brown for this one that's sleeping on the log, and then I've brought in citrus green, which is a proper lime green, and I've just introduced highlights of that. So again, I've got this little bit on the party hat, and then there's a little bit of bamboo in his drink. So again, I've just popped that little bit of spot colour in there, and when he's all finished, he looks like this. Okay.
Love it.
You can see there all coloured in. As I say, there's just that little bit of spot, and then I've got a box full of these little tiny pearls that I bought that were all mixed colours, and just picked out some that matched. And then what I've done with my very lightest grey is I've just gone underneath. I'm going to use the mid-tone because my light one is actually running out. So these at the moment, He's actually on the log, so he's not so bad, but this one's just sort of floating around in the air. So what I tend to do is just add literally a little tiny bit of scribble underneath, and then I normally add my blender pen, which is just the alcohol without any colour in it. And just, if you go over this, it bleaches it a little bit, and it sort of blurs it a little bit as well. It just makes it not quite so defined. And it's almost having like that, you know, if you were stood against the floor, there would be some kind of shadow. I think even my blender's running out as well. I need to get some...
do you buy those separately on the website, or do they come in a bundle?
I think you get a blender in with the Classics and the Illustrators, I believe. I've had these such a long time. Some of these are my original Black Barrel pens, which is why they're actually running out.
Right.
I think our Nicola's saying the blenders are sold out at the minute.
Right.
Yeah, this one's definitely getting a bit dry. It's not doing its job. What it normally does is actually blur this. I've just had a quick look on our, we've got a lot of pens here in the studio, and I couldn't see one on the side there, but you get the idea. You can see where it started working at the bottom, but it just grounds them a little bit. And again, it's very, very faint on this one because I use the lighter grey, but it's just got, I actually think I prefer the darker shade there, but just underneath. And then again, I've gone from the white and just mounted it onto the black. It makes such a difference if you've got that black card available, just to literally focus everything within that area that you're going to work on. So what we're going to do with this one then is I'm sticking with that long DL size here. So DL meaning double length. So whatever your width is, you double it for the length. So this is actually the A4 cardstock. This is my multi-purpose card again. And the width is 8 1/4. So I've cut it across here at 8 1/4, and then I've scored it at 4 1/8. So literally in half to make my tent fold card. I've also added a little bit of detail inside again, just strips of the green card. Again, I just wanted that spot colour to link it to the front of the card. This is from the stamp set. And then what we're going to do is I've made a background piece that I'm going to pop onto the card. And then we're going to have this one just raised slightly, like so. So that we've got a little bit of something going on behind him, but I've still kept it very neutral. So this one's going to go on with my tape pen again. And literally just add some adhesive, because I'm going to stick this one to the card blank. So that one's going to go across. And then I've just, again, this is just some tape that I had in my stash. I just wanted something to set it off from the background. So it was a case of having a look. It could be one of the strips from a paper pad. Sometimes you would got some of the pages in the paper pads that are those cut apart strips. Anything like that that you've got lying around. But I just wanted something that was the black and white again, just to sort of set this off the background so it didn't get lost in that background. I've used an embossing folder to create the brickwork and then just gone over it with some grey ink. Okay, and then this one I'm just going to set slightly off the top of the card to give it a different look. So I'm not going to put any tape across that top edge. I'm going to come about 2/3 of the way down and pop my adhesive, because that top edge is going to show over the top of the card. So again, I'm just going to turn it this way. I'm going to eyeball each side and just make sure we've got about the same distance and a little bit of this showing underneath, not the whole thing. And then we're going to pop that one down on top. And then I've just stamped, again from the kit, the stamp set here, we've got "You are pandastic." Which again, I just love the quirky sentiments. This was the one that I used inside. We've got the party time inside there. You can see what that one. Okay, and then I was just going to put this one across the corner here like so. So I've just put a little bit of scrap card behind it, because obviously there's a difference in height from this layer to this one, and then we'll actually stick that one across the top. So this is just scrap cardstock to build it up to the same height as what we've got going on. And then I'm going to pop that one just at a little angle across here, like so. So that's going to offset my little jewels at this side. So we've got that little bit of detail at either side there. And that's him sorted. So yeah, just a little bit of fun. That absolutely, I can just imagine, you know, my little Toby's 4 next time in February. So you can just imagine, you know, on your 4th birthday, he would love something like this. They are really, really good fun to have a play with.
Yeah, lovely. I think all the comments are saying, Laurie says, I love all these fun stamp sets. Humour and cute is my thing. Kirsty D says, I have these stamps. I've used them quite often. Tina says, I have the pandas and I'm using them a bit. I have 2 birthday cards to do. Fred says, my favourite is the zebra. It's not in this bundle and I love it with the caption, do these stripes make my bum look big. Loads of people loving these. Nana to the girl says, well, I know when I know I'm going to be in a crafting coma, I tend to make dinner early to be heated later. That's a good idea.
Absolutely. That's a really good idea.
Says, thank you so much, Jan, for mentioning it's okay to just flat out colour. I remember when I started, I thought, oh no, I could never make something look right. So it wasn't something I could try. Crafters CCTV helps us grow. And it really does because, you know, like you say, especially with the black, you know, you can make it just that flat colour or that dark grey.
I always think, Becky, is we all started somewhere. I mean, I've been doing this a very long time as a hobby before I was lucky enough to work in the industry. So I've been crafting now for probably over 20 years.
Yeah.
So I've learned as I've gone along from different instructors, watching different demos and things like that. A lot of input from, you know, people here like Leanne, who's sort of a guru with all things Spectrum Noir. But yeah, you know, it's okay to start somewhere. And I'd rather people start here and have a go than think, oh, I'm no good at colouring, I can't do colouring. Do this and work from there.
Yeah.
I've not added, you know, on the one that I did here, I've not added any more than just that first layer of colouring. I think I add a little tiny bit of shading into this one on the black, but as I say, the greys and the darker colours are easier to do than the more bright colours, I think. Yeah?
I think so. If you do want to sort of adapt some of those techniques that Jan's been talking about using the masking tape, that is available on the Every Day's a School Day section of the website. 70% off? 70% off. That's the time to get it, definitely. To recap what we've just shown you, these are our Animals with Attitude. They're 5 sets of different animal stamps. Not only do you get the animals, but you also get the sentiments, and they're all quite funny with a bit of a pun in them, I think, all of them. First one is your Great Minds Drink Alike. This is your panda. Then you have your sloth. Sloth mode on is this one, what it's called. Really gorgeous. Show them that way. Oh, that way. That way. You can see, look, they're gorgeous. And this one is your elephants. We then have your llamas. I don't mean to alarm you, but this is the last one. Do you know what it is? It's Ben is in the other studio and I'm absorbing his nonsense by osmosis. I was going to say his dad jokes, but maybe they are nonsense, I don't know. £18.71 for all of these, or $26.21. Platinum price is £14.97 or $20.97. Great, great deal that you've got here. And if you like funny animals, you're going to like this bundle that I've got here. I'm going to just put them in order because I think these are really gorgeous. I bought these last year for Christmas and I thought they were brilliant. And like you were saying, you know, about colouring and you just lose your time. I sat in bed doing some colouring and before I knew it, I'd watched 3 films. Well, I hadn't watched them because I'd been colouring, but the time just went straight away. This first one is your llama. What does it say? Baby, it's cold outside. Alpaca my scarf. Like that one. And then this one is Bar Humpug. I think this is great. But we've also got this one, which I think is beautiful with that giraffe. There's something so majestic about that giraffe, really pretty. I really hope that Jan might be using this in the next demo. I'm just saying. You've also got this beautiful dragonfly frame, was water lily frame with the dragonflies around it. Beautiful selection that we've got here. We've also got this one here, which is your Best Buddy. I'm choosing all these different ones that are different sizes. This is your Best Buddy stamp and die set. And look how you can create that beautiful card. Actually, do you know what? This was the first, this was on my very first show I ever did up here. Yeah. And I remember thinking, that's so clever to create those little apertures, to have those little dogs talking through the door. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. Got a lot of love for that one. And then this one here is your character edgeables with the gorgeous little bunnies and the little Macy's all there with your sentiments. So you've got those dies there to cut around the edge, as well as the stamps in there too. All of these in a bundle, £28 or $34. Platinum price is £22.40. Now, I mean, like I said, I love this one. This is my favourite one.
Oh, fancy that.
Jan, do you think you could do a demo using this one?
Shall I do a demo with this one? What
that would be amazing if you could.
Born to be wild.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So we certainly are. We're going to use the draft. You know, this is one of my favourite stamps ever. As I say, I am at heart a stamper. I started out my crafting journey as a stamper. I love the colouring aspect, regardless of the medium. I must admit the alcohol pens are my go-to for colouring. But yeah, anything that's got colour involved in it is my go-to. And these are actually a stamp set and some metalwork to cut out. So you can see here, you can see mine's well loved. It's been in and out of the packet so many times. So you've got that lovely, decent sized focal stamp there, a couple of sentiments in there, and then you also get the outline of the giraffe head. And I'll show you how I'm going to use this because it allows you to cut out of the stamped area and then decoupage. So it really does look quite effective. So I will stamp it out to show you, and I have got one already done. I'm conscious that I'm not going to spend a whole show just colouring. So I have got one that I've done at home. This time I've got Nina cardstock, and I've taken a piece bigger than what I need so that I can die cut around it. So again, I've taken sort of like half a sheet of it, and I'm going to stamp this in the centre. And again, think about, at this point, think about what you're going to be colouring with. If you're going to stamp and heat emboss, you can use any colouring medium because the heat embossing will set over the ink and you don't have to worry about any kind of bleed.
Okay.
But if you're going to choose a watercolour medium, like our aqua pens, for example, or our sparkle ink, something like that, you want the opposite. So you want that waterproof ink. Because I've gone down the route of my alcohol pens again, I'm going to carry on with my alcohol ink. But what I am going to do is I'm going to swap from the flagstone to pebble, which is a brown tone. Because this is more of a, you know, an animal that's got the browns and the beiges and those colours in, I'm going to swap to the brown for the outline.
Okay.
So we need to pick this one up on our platform, and this again will work on any, you know, you don't have to use the magnetic platform, but if you haven't got it, I would consider it as a purchase, either, you know, treating yourself, asking for it as a Christmas gift, something like that. It has altered the way many people stamp. A lot of you know that I used to work in the Chesterfield store, and a big part of my job was teaching there. We used to run craft classes on a daily basis, along with my partner in crime, Debbie Robinson. Yeah, that's how we first met.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, we didn't know each other prior to working for the company.
Wow.
And we just hit it off. You know, when you get that friendship with somebody,
Yeah.
you feel as if you've known them all your life. And we just hit it off, and we both used to teach at the store. And I've forgotten where I was going this, why I actually started this. Stamping platform. It's a good job our Nicola's paying attention, bless her. I do this a lot. I start and I think, where was I heading with this? Because I veered off at such a tangent that I forgot where I started. But yes, stamping platform. The number of people at the classes that used to say to, oh, I'm rubbish, Jan, I'm no good at stamping. I can't do your class today because I can't stamp. And I always used to say to people, it's not you that can't stamp, it's the equipment that you're using.
Yeah.
So first of all, what are you using to stamp with? Second, make sure you've got the right cardstock to stamp on, depending on what colouring medium you're going to use. And third, make sure you're using the right ink for your outline, your line art. And once you've got those three things in alignment, the rest of it is fairly straightforward. So again, I'm just applying lots of pressure on there so that that ink can transfer to my card. And we've got just I just think it's exquisite. I absolutely love this one. It's like, I've not got a big thing for giraffes or anything like that, but I just love the design of it. It's absolutely beautiful. So, I'm going to take that off again. I'm not going to do a lot of colouring. In fact, I don't think I'm going to colour this one at all because I've actually got one ready done. But what I do want to show you is how this part of it works. So what I did was stamp it twice. I've stamped it just like this twice. And I've done 2 different parts of the colouring, and I'll show you what I mean when I bring these in. But this one is made to fit just around the giraffe itself. So again, if you check these out, your cutting edge is right in the centre of the piece of metalwork. So when you look at it from the back here, you're going to put the cutting edge face down against your card, and your cutting edge runs right along the centre of the metal. What that allows you to do is pretty much see the whole of your stamped image through the die. So if you line it up with the line art on your actual stamped image, and then we just need to take a little bit of tape again, and I would always advise taping your dies in place. I've had far too many accidents where things have moved as I've put them in the Gemini, or again, my Gemini is on the desk behind me, so when I spin round to put it on the desk, they shoot out. So yeah, it is well worth taking the time to just position everything and then tape it down so that it doesn't move. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the low tack tape, and then we will pass this through the Gemini so that you can see the effect you get. All right, so again, just the standard cutting plates with my shim, my magnetic and my top plate, and we'll pass this through our Gemini. I'm never again going to check, never not going to check. But if you were watching the show earlier, I honestly thought I'd shot somebody. I'd forgotten to open the drop-down door at the back, so the plate shoved the drop-down piece, and I honestly thought somebody had come in to shoot us. My heart, it must have took it a good 2 minutes for it to settle. Yeah, if that doesn't end up in Ben's show at the end of the week, it'll be a miracle. Honestly.
Rhonda says, if you don't have the 8x8 stamping platform with magnetic base, get it. I gave up on stamping until I got this.
Yeah,
exactly what you just said.
It has changed the way people view stamping. It's made it much more accessible for people. And I think if you get a result with something, it's worth every penny that you've paid for it. So yeah, whereas it may be a considered purchase for you, it is something that I would possibly pop on a Christmas list or a birthday list, something like that, and have it as a gift. But you can see you've got him cut out there of that main piece. So this was the piece that was left. So what I did was stamp him once, and I actually used one of my circle dies to cut him out. All right, so I've just used a circle die that I've got in my stash to cut him out. And all I've done is colour everything that wasn't the giraffe itself. So all the way around the edge, all the detail here, I've had, again, you know me and my gems, it's got a few little gems in the centre of the flowers there. And then I stamped it a second time, and I had this piece, and this is where I've actually done the work with the colouring. And you can just see there using a combination, I think it was the tan blends here, and then the darker brown to colour the little patches in on him. And again, you know, you can create that depth of shading.
Yeah, it looks lovely.
Just spend a little bit of time on it. And I've popped this one on some, well, rather a lot of foam pads. I'm not necessarily going to take the back off all of those. And we're technically going to sort of decoupage that piece into, and it all lines up with the original design. So it's not obvious straight away that there are 2 layers, but I just think it's a real, and they're all the same, all the ones that you find in this range, because there are some more in this range. If we have them in stock, they'll be on the website. We've just chosen ones to put in this sort of bundle for you today. They all work with that same element. So what we're going to do then is we'll just take some of these off. I'm not going to spend an age taking the backs off all of them. As long as it's stuck in place, it's good enough for me. The others can just act as a bridge to keep it straight. Okay, so again, I've gone wild with them, I think. I'd only got the little ones to hand, so rather that I'd have been better with some larger foam pads, but it's not the end of the world. We'll just,
well, to be honest, here, we've only had tiny foam pads for the longest of times, haven't we? Haven't had any big ones.
So yeah, I'm just going to take the odd 1 or 2 off, and then just use the others as like a bridging effect to keep it flat. Again, if you want to shape it, you can shape it slightly and use your 3D glue gel. So on this particular one, I've just kept it flat. And again, it's just a habit I've got into now. I always tend to add, even if I'm not going onto a, an inked surface or anything like that, I've just got into the habit of adding that little tiny bit of wet glue on there, and it just gives you that extra security for those ones there. So again, this one now lines up perfectly with what we've got underneath. So I'm just going to go over the top there, and particularly pay attention here because these do line up with what's underneath. And again, the rest of it there, we're going to pop that into place. Okay, and we've got that lovely decoupage piece there. So all we need now then is to create a card for him to go on and sort of be the focal point. And I've gone back to one of my favourite designs for cards, and I love this. I like making the cards that have the acetate piece in the middle for two reasons. I love the design, and also it means that you can make a larger card out of your piece of A4, because if you're going to cut a full card blank, the largest that we can really go with A4 is like a 5 7/8. It's just under 6 inches square. By doing it this way, you can actually create it. This one's actually 6 3/4 inches. Because I've got the gap in the middle, I've been able to cut the width. And then obviously I've got that chunk missing, so I've got enough left to make that as a larger card size. That's one of the reasons I like using it. So I've taken some pretty pattern paper and I've just matted the inside there with some pink. And then this is from an old, one of the old craft kits, the subscription boxes, which I've had to take some of them out of their boxes because I was literally running out of space to put things. So some of the older ones, I took all the bits out of them, and I've got a stack of all the pattern papers and the blocks, the solids that went with them, and I've got those all at hand now. And the idea is that I actually use something instead of just keeping it for a rainy day. And then I've gone with the other colourway. It's got that gorgeous pink and then like a mint green in there. So for the front, I've used the same paper, but I've actually gone with the mint green just to give it like a bit of a contrast. So we're going to put those on the front just to matte and layer the front. And you can use this card design for any of your, it doesn't have to just be for this particular style. You can use it for anything and just bridge the gap with whatever you want to be the focal point for your card. So I've done it, with decoupage on the front. I've done it sometimes with just floral stamps on the front. Whatever you want to use in this gap. It could be a set of nesting dies with a sentiment, it could be a focal sentiment on the front. It works so well with so many different designs. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this one across the middle here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put adhesive behind the top and bottom so that there's nothing showing through the back of the acetate when we actually stick it down. So all I'm going to do is tend to turn it over, and then I can see where the glue needs to go. So I need to put some on this top edge here and some on the bottom. So we're going to pop that one pretty much central again. I'm just going to eyeball how much is overlapping and the distance from each edge and give that a press down. And then again, I've actually stamped out one of the sentiments which says "Born to be Wild." The other one says "Stand Tall." So we've got our sentiment. Now I had a little bit here where I've inked around the edge of this and there was a little bit of glue here where it has, if I hadn't have pointed it out, you probably wouldn't have seen it, but my sentiment's going to go in there just to cover that up, because you can. They always say it's a happy accident. There's a way, or an embellishment there. I'm going to put some embellishments at the other side to offset this, so I could have done that either way round. But I thought we'll just pop the sentiment in there. And then I've just been in my stash just to find some pretty little flower dies. And just out of the backing, the pink from the backing, I've just created 3 single flowers. It could be your flower foam, it could be the new funky foam that you cut the flowers out of. And I just use my pokey tool in the centre of them just to give them a little bit of shaping so that they're not completely flat. So just pop it in the middle and just squish the petals around it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to put, they sort of mirrored what we've got here. I'm going to pop 2 of them down here, and then I'm going to put the other one just to echo it across the top there, just as a little bit of extra dimension on there. So again, we'll just use that tacky glue. I'm going to bring them low enough down that it avoids the back of the acetate. But if you do want to place any adhesive behind there and it shows through the acetate, the easiest trick to do for that is to cut another circle the same size as what you've got here. And then when you've got everything stuck down, you can just stick that other circle at the back and it covers up any workings that you've got underneath it and gives you a really nice finish. And again, you know, you think, well, you've got all that pattern paper inside, Jan, where are you going to pop your sentiment? You know, if you want to write a message to someone. So again, you can either mat and layer the back of the card, or if you wanted to add that extra circle here, you could actually pop your message on that circle that would cover this one at the back. But just for the purpose of demoing, I'm going to leave it at that. We've got that gorgeous stamps taking centre stage there. We've got the acetate bridge in the middle, and then just a little bit of extra pattern on the inside. And I just think they are beautiful. They really are.
That's lovely. The colours, everything about that is just gorgeous. Oh, totally in love with that. Thank you so much for doing that.
That's
and I
okay.
just asked you, just off the cuff, because you do use that giraffe. This is an assorted stamp and die collection we've got for you. This is the gorgeous Born to be Wild, the lovely giraffe, the one you've just seen. And this is one of the many in this collection. This is the first one. Then we've got your dragonfly, water lily frame with the dragonflies on it. Very pretty. I've seen a couple of people using this where's like a shaker card, going around a shaker card, looks really nice. This one is your Summer Bunny Special. It's got the rabbits and it's got the mice, it's got the stamps, and it's got those dies that will just cut out the edge of those. You can cut them out by using your scissors, but on the edge it looks really, really nice. This is the Best Buddy one with the little dog and the dies that cut in those different apertures. And then we've got the last two small ones, which are your punny stamps for Christmas. You've got your Bar Hum Pug, and then you have your Baby It's Cold Outside Alpaca My Scarf. I love these, they're brilliant. £28 or $34. Platinum price is £22.50 or $27.20 for all of those. Very inspiring makes, as always, from Jan. We are going to go for a quick break. We will see you in a couple of moments. Make sure you check out your baskets. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
If you love Crafters TV, we've made it easy for you to watch us wherever you are. Whether you catch us on your tablets or take us with you on your mobile phone, it's easy to watch us anywhere. From here to here. Maybe don't watch us here. It would be easy to watch us here. Probably the easiest place to watch us is here. Crafters TV, with you wherever you are.
A few weeks ago on the show, we were talking about places where all you guys lived. Well, we might have used Google Earth just to have a bit of a sneaky look at the village, town, or city that you lived in. And I thought it might be quite funny if I wrote a little ditty and I put on my Facebook page, where do y'all live? And I'll put your towns and cities and village into my little song. But I didn't realize that there would be about 425 responses, so I'm gonna cram as many places into this song as I can, but I won't get them all in. We craft everywhere, man, we craft everywhere. From over here to there, man, we craft everywhere. In crafters we've got our share, man, we craft everywhere. We craft in Lydney, Lynbrook, Launceston, Lehana, Tampa, Darlington, Almond Beach, Sedalia, Wills Point, Widnes, Wildwood, Wildham, Marsh, Chautauqua Lake, Walkerburn, Yate, Bay, Hesperia, Sublimity, Pinhole, Avon, Freeport, Mapleton, San Jose, Enniscorn, Great Bend, Detroit, Denniston. We craft everywhere, man, we craft everywhere. From over here to there, man, we craft everywhere. In crafters we've got our share, man, we craft everywhere. Craft in Parachute, Paradise, Pollux, Papillion, Sheepshead Bay, St. Petersburg, Seacombe, Sutton, Saturday, Bristol, Brighton, Brooklyn, Blackwell, Barnsley, Tide Squeeze, South Shields, Temple Hills and Bentley, Tampa, Villa, Tucumcari, Cary, Ottawa, Hull, Harrisburg, Lexington, Tupelo, Cincinnati, Austinburg. We craft everywhere, man, we craft everywhere. From over here to there, man, we craft everywhere. In crafters we've got our share, man, we craft everywhere. Craft in Loxahatchee, Lakesville, Lawrence, Lacey, Livermore, Albuquerque, Weeki-Wachee, Pensacola, Ellsmere Park, Mechanicsburg, Williamsburg, Rebella, Houston, Burlington, Wet Wang, Market, Drayton, Yale, Memphis, Wellington, Wapakoneta, Homer, Sassa, Santa Rosa, Wichita, Honolulu, Riverdale, Melbourne, Commerce, Spinton. We craft everywhere, man, we craft everywhere. From over here to there, man, we craft everywhere. In crafters we've got our share, man, we craft everywhere. Grafton, Newton Abbott, Richmond, Dudley, Georgetown, East Kilbride, Eugene, Ferrum, Brentwood, Walkerstown, Newarheim, Fort Wayne, Gloucester, Chester, Long Beach, Raphael, St. Dominic, St. Cloud, St. Augustine Beach, Sand Springs, Romford, Tulsa, Traverse City, Wesley Chapel, Ballarat, Medina, Ramble City. We craft everywhere, man. We craft everywhere. From over here to there, man. We craft everywhere. In crafters, we've got our share, man. We craft everywhere. Craft in Sawbrook and Tucson, Kissimmee, Philadelphia, Chicago, Las Vegas, Biloxi, Latte, Elmira, Glendale, Scottsdale, Anchorage and Hurtville, Seattle, Gold Canyon, Ipswich, Cumberland, Unionville, Toledo, Miami, Atlanta, Cleveland, Gold Canyon, Altoona, Calounda, Port Orange, Glover, Rising Sun. We craft everywhere, man. We craft everywhere. From over here to there, man. We craft everywhere. In crafters, we've got our share, man. We craft everywhere. And there's a few more places I didn't manage to get into the song. West Runton, Newcastle, Kingswood, Sandbach, Carlisle, Bewley, Albury, Durham, Springfield, Ashington. We craft in Greenville, Lincoln, Nebraska, Sumter, Oak Park, Winchester, Knapp Hill, Stoke-on-Trent, Mount Pocono, Greenville, Charlotte, Oxon Hill, Tunbridge Wells, Modesto, Haverhill, Sierra Vista, Arecibo, Morgantown, O'Fallon, Aurora, Black Forest. We craft in Hermiston, Brownsburg, Henderson, Socorro, Fort Myers, Mandenholm, Hilliard, Farmingdale, East Moline, Summers Point, Calgary, Charleston, Sawston, Malden, Galloway, Fitchburg, Hopewell, Aberdeen, Winstead, Castlewood, Chatsworth, Limestone, Victoria, Willoughby, Rockland, Canton, Falmouth, Conestoga, Lyndhurst, Ashbourne and Cluj-Napoca. Oh yeah.
Hello everybody, back again. I'm sorry, my cable's just come out of my talkback unit. See me rummaging around my back. I do apologise about that. I was so excited by listening to Ben doing that song. I'm just saying to Jan, I don't know how he manages to do it. I mean, he speaks so quickly. Did it take him many, many takes? I'm not surprised, but it is an amazing song, and I know you will like it. Actually, we should have a little vote as to favourite song that Ben has done, because that'd be quite a toughie.
I still like the first one.
Which was the first one?
The one with Craig.
With Craig?
Crafty Man Can. Mm-hmm. I still think that I don't know what it was. I like the tune.
Yeah.
And I think they put all the words to it as well. It just made they're all great.
They're all
He's
brilliant.
very, very talented, our Ben. He's got a lot of hidden talents. Well, they're not so hidden now, are they?
No.
Yeah.
I think he's brilliant. I like the Coca Cabana one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really good. I enjoy that. Right, so I'm sorry, because I was fiddling around with trying to get my cable back in, and I didn't hear what Nicola wanted me to get next. Right. It's so unprofessional. Becky, I don't understand. Do you know, I sat down for a moment, and then my cable just popped out. And then
it was that, I saw you doing a little jig to the dance. That was it. That's what made it all come apart.
I was dancing to the music. I blame Ben. Blame Ben for most things. Right, these are our multimedia animal dies. And we've got 2 packs here for you to show you. 2 different types of ones. Now these are multimedia dies, so they'll be able to cut through grey board, you'll be able to cut through fabric, you're able to cut through card as well. Really, really versatile. This first one has a selection of different animals in there, and actually you look at the packaging, you think, okay, they're going to be weeny. They're not. They're actually quite significantly large. And to give you an example, the frog is 3.3 by 4.8 inches, so they're quite hefty size, and they're really nice items to have because there's so many different ways you can use them. You get a multitude of different dies, so all those different sort of aspects of the eyes, the ears, all those sorts of things are going to be separate dies for you to use, and they're very versatile because you'll be able to use them in different places. You'll also be getting the festive animals, which have the little stars on all these animals. Now, we don't know whether this is a llama or a mouse or a rabbit. I think it's a hare. I reckon it's a Christmas hare. Okay, Nicola's just saying it's a llama. I don't know. I don't know, but you'll see on the back.
A definitive
These
answer.
are all the different dies that you'll be getting in here. Oh, you're going to get instructions.
I'm going to, yeah, let's see if we can sort this
but
once
you'll
and
get
for
all of these different dies in here. £20, $25. Platinum price is £16 or $20. Jan, what is the answer?
It's supposed to be a mouse.
What, the long one with long
It's a
ears?
little mouse at the bottom, the grey one.
Nicola, you're wrong. No, I said mouse or rabbit. Its ears are sticking out too much to be
crafty licence again. You know, it can be whatever you want it to be, guys.
And there's nothing to stop you. You could have the penguin with big ears, couldn't you? You could make your own animals.
Yep.
That is the beauty of these things. They're not prescribed. You can make what you like with them. Really great collection. And you've got a few things that you made earlier today, haven't you?
This is using the little friends one.
Yeah.
So in the demo this morning, we made the little mouse. And again, you know, artistic license, we made him in pink because I hadn't got any grey foam, so we went with the pink. So yeah, do-do-do-do. He wants his little tail that he can do-do-do-do. But yeah, they are just so cute. But what we were saying is when we've popped him together, he's about 5 1/4 by 3 1/4 inches.
Yeah.
And then this one from that same set was one that I'd done at home, and I just think these would be great for the kiddies. And all I've done is I've just attached a lollipop stick, a wooden lollipop stick, and I've just wrapped it with some of my washi tape just to add a little bit of detail to it. You know, there'd be nothing to say you couldn't just put them in as they are. And I just think as little puppets for storytelling and things like that for children, they would be great. And again, I've just sealed it on the back, used one of the spare pieces in the kit that was intended for something else, but it's just sealed that in there with some glue, little googly eyes in there, and I just think they're great. They really are good fun. So I said later today we would actually demo the other set, and these are equally good fun, but these actually come with the star backgrounds, and I think these lend themselves to being, like I saw straight away, tree decorations. So, you know, making these for the kiddies at Christmas and actually putting them on I'm going to put an eyelet in there to actually make it into a decoration.
Oh, nice.
So again, these come with all the instructions. So again, you know, you've got all these pieces. If I show you the dies, I've just taken this one. My sheet that these were on was getting very, very tatty. So all I've done is take it out and put them all onto a magnetic sheet so that I've got them easy access there. So you can see there is a lot of metal in there for your money. And I'll go through what the pieces are. But you do get an instruction sheet that first of all explains what all these different pieces are for. So obviously you've got that main star which is going to create our background shape, and for this particular one, if I just pop that on my map, we're looking at about just over 4 inches square round here. Okay. So again, a good size for either a focal point on a card or to make an individual decoration or a puppet, again, whatever you wish. And then it goes through what all the other pieces are here. So I'm actually going to make the little penguin here. So again, if you take it over onto the next part of the sheet, you can see it shows you which pieces we're going to need. So I'm going to need to take the head, which is the oval piece, and we're going to cut that one. And I'm also going to need the piece that features in there, which is the face. So I'm actually going to take that piece as well to create the face there. That's going to go inside my head piece. And then we need the body. Okay, so again, I'm going to have a look on here and make sure that we've got our body part here, which is the smaller one. So that's going to be this one. Okay, and then you've got an insert as well for the body. So I'm actually going to pop that one. I think that's, no, not that one. This one goes inside here. Okay. It does look like a moustache. Okay. It's just over the, I'm conscious it's over the top of the, yeah. I think that's right. I might have to just double check that one and see. It might be this one. That piece says body, and that's the robin redbreast. Yeah, so it is that piece that I need. That one's very, very, does it want to be that one and that one? Yes, I think that's better, isn't it?
Oh, that works, doesn't it?
I think this one is to go with that one for, yeah, for the robin redbreast. So yeah, just familiarise yourself with what you've got on there. And then we also want, we're going to cut the little Santa hat out. So I want his hat, and you have got a little circle. We'll just go with, let's have a little look. Hat, eyes, berries and hat bobbles. So yeah, we'll just go with, we don't need a massive one, we'll go with one of those for the top of the hat. And then I want his scarf. So you've either got, you've got that piece and you've got the little tail for the scarf. Okay. We need a nose, so we've got a penguin nose there. Okay, and if you want to cut his eyes out, we could use the same as the ones here. But what I'm actually going to do for this one, let's just move all these across here, is I'm going to do this one out of cardstock. We actually used the funky foam this morning, but I'm going to do this one out of cardstock. Now, I've cut one of the stars already because I want to do a front and a back with these. So this is just some of our glitter cardstock. And like I was saying this morning, I've backed it onto a piece of our 300 GSM multi-purpose card. So it's quite substantial now. Because our multi-craft dies are a little bit deeper on the cutting edge, it means that this is going to cut through both of the layers, and I've got a piece that is really nice and sturdy. So I'm going to cut a second one of those out. So let's get some of these pieces laid out ready. So we want that one cut out of the blue. And then I've got a little bag of lots of bits here, and these are just scraps of card again that I've stuck onto scraps of white card, or it could be scraps of any colour card. You're not really going to see the back there. So again, I've got, let's have a little look. We're going to do the body of the penguin in black. So I want a face, and I want the main part of the body there. Okay. So again, I'm just going to tape everything in place. I'm also going to cut those two for his eyes, so we'll do those in the black first. I want a little red hat. And we should be able to pass all of these through our Gemini together. I'm going to do the scarf in the blue. So again, we've got the main part of the scarf and the little tail on the scarf. I'm going to do the nose in a little scrap of orange, and then we're going to cut the face and the body, and then I'll have to come back and do the bit for the end of the hat.
Tim C was asking whether you need cutting plates for multimedia or do you use your normal plates?
I'm going to use my normal plates, that's what's going to come to next. But because those dies are slightly deeper, again, we need to adjust the depth of our sandwich here. So I'm going to take away my magnetic shim. All right, I'm going to not use that one, and I'm going to use these three for multimedia. Okay. So I'm going to cut against my cutting mat as normal. See if we can fit all these on in one pass. If not, I can always pop it through a second time. Yeah, we might have to do a couple of passes through there.
I obviously have fabric plates because obviously I'm cutting fabric all the time, and I use my fabric plates for card. Mainly because I'm too lazy to go and get my other plates. But then you can cut, because obviously it doesn't damage your plate because you're using those fabric plates in between. And it seems to make everything last a little bit longer.
Maybe, So all I'm going to do is pop my frosted shim over the top of those now, and then that top plate. So that's all you need for those. Because you've got the extra depth in the die, the metal work, that's actually made up the deficit of taking out the magnetic shim. So again, we're just going to pop these through our Gemini, and then I'm just going to pass it through a second time to get these pieces done as well. So we've got those extra pieces that we prepared, and I'm going to transfer the little eyes onto the white as well.
It's so quick to get all these pieces cut out, isn't it, with the Gemini?
Honestly, you know, if I'd have used the big plate, I could have probably got all this through. I thought it was going to fit onto the small ones, but to use the larger plates, if you have them, this would have all done literally in one pass through the machine, absolutely perfectly. So again, take those away, and let's have a look at what we've got now. So we've got our head and our little body there. Okay, save those ones. Those are going to be, I don't know whether they might be a bit big for his eyes. We'll have a look and see how we go on. And then inside here, we've got the front of his face and the little piece for his breastplate there. And I've cut those out for the edge of the hat. Again, we've got his little Santa hat
Oh, well, look how
I
cute
haven't
he
done
looks
the
already.
haven't done the bit for the front of the hat. We've got his nose.
Oh, he's so sweet.
See whether they might work. I think they're a little bit big, I think, those, but we'll see how we go. Yeah, I've not done the, there's a little piece here that's the white for the hat, so I'll pop that, I'll do that in a second. And then we've got the blue. You see how it's just literally popping out of there. So this one's going to go across the middle here to make his scarf. Probably pop that one underneath there. Okay, and I'm going to pop all of that onto that blue that we did to start off with. So you can see now why this is shaped like it is, because it comes down to the bottom of the star. And I just think all the little bits like that have been sought through, and that's where you're going to start with your image. So again, I'm going to use that tacky glue because we want it to soak into that glitter cardstock. So again, just pop the glue on the back. And as I say, this has been designed that it fits right up to the bottom edge of the star there. And then this piece matches on top, like so. And then we can pop this one onto here. And I just think, you know, if you're crafting with the kiddies or the grandkids, I know I certainly, I got these out to do my prep, and I thought, I know Toby will love these. You know, he'll even, if I use the midi or the mini, he'll love the action of turning them through the machine as well. So yeah, I think we're going to probably have a go at making some of these for Christmas, and maybe give them as decorations to people for the tree. So again, pop his little head on there. And again, with the tacky glue, you just need a second for it to adhere. But that glue soaks into the glitter layer, and you're going to get a nice bond there. And we've got his little hat. And I just love, you know, all the different, if you imagine all the different ways you could actually put these together. You know, I've gone with the one, I've literally pretty much followed the theme here, other than I've changed the colour of the scarf. But yeah, you know, you can go with whatever colourway you want. And literally you could make these up, you could have all the pieces ready, you know, have a little, I know some people use those little trays with the sections in. You could have a pile of scarves, a pile of hats, you know, a pile of bodies ready, and literally just put them together as you please. Lots of different sort of combinations. So we've got his scarf there, and then I'm just going to pop that little bit poking out from underneath as if he's got the tie.
I like the fact that things are interchangeable with these, so you can, you know, mix and match them.
Then his nose. In here. Just think they're great. And I've just used, as I say, I save all my scraps of textured cardstock. I just like the finish of it. So whenever I've been using it, if I've got little pieces left, I've just got them in a folder. And I just dive in there when I want to do something like this. I just like that sort of little bit of extra textured finish on it. So again, well, I've got the bulk of it there. I'm not sure about whether I want those. I don't know. Do we think those are too big?
I think it looks cute with the big eyes.
It looks, yeah.
Yeah.
I think what we might do is I've got a white gel pen with me. I might just pop a little bit of white accent in them as well. They'd look great with a couple of little black gems for the eyes, you know, so that you're getting a little bit of shine on them.
Yeah.
Or again, doing it this way, you could put a little bit of your glossy accents on there just to make it shiny. You could use your little bit of puffy snow. I will just cut this bit in a second.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one on the back. Because they've been die cut, they're going to match up perfectly. Because I want this to be like an ornament, I want some detail on the back as well. So I'm just going to pop these back to back, stick them together so that if it does start to turn, if it's on the tree, for example, you've not just got the card at the back, you've got that lovely detail that matches the front there. And then we'll give that a chance to dry, and I will cut his sort of piece for his hat in a second. But you can see there how that's coming together. And if I just show you the one that I did at home, I did the Santa, and all I've done is I've punched a hole, popped an eyelet in, little bit of twine. And again, you can just see, I've just put the highlights on his eyes, look, but they are a little bit smaller. So again, you know, you've got those different ones that you could mix and match with. And again, done the same on the back, and you've got those lovely little sort of hanging tree decorations there. I just think they are so, so cute.
Oh, that's lovely.
And then I've just realised these are ones that I did on a previous show, but just to give you an idea, you know, why not do them on your tags?
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
especially if you've got kiddies' Christmas presents or, you know, grandchildren, things like that. I've just used a tag die that I had in my stash. I've handwritten on the back of it. You might have stamp sets that have got the to and from in there. But again, just making your own Christmas tags or birthday tags with that everyday set. And then this is from that everyday, and just look. How adorable is that? And I've just used some of our glitter fabric. We've had this, I don't know whether we still stock this or not. We had it when I worked in the store a few years ago. I don't know whether you know, Becky, whether we still have it. It comes on a roll.
Yeah, it's on a roll. I've got some at home, but I don't know whether we do. I don't know whether we still
stock it, but you know, it could be felt, it could be the funky foam, but I just thought, you know, as a unicorn, you needed a bit of glitter again.
Magical.
But again, if I put that on my hand, you know, you can see they are a good size.
Yeah.
Again, if you imagine popping them on as puppets, they'd be great for storytelling, things like that. And I just think they're such good fun, you know, to have a play with as well. So we've got the little mouse there from earlier, we've got the frog there from the other set. You know, it really is endless amounts of fun. And as I say, if you have some of the pieces, this one's cut out of felt, these were done out of the funky foam, the others are done out of cardstock. Again, you know, add your glitter glue. This one I've actually added some glitter just to sparkle the snow and the little pom-pom up there. However you want to do them, they are such good fun.
Fantastic. I think they are a key thing. And this price, I mean, you're going to get the two different types of animal multimedia dies. They are multimedia dies, both of these. So you can use them for cutting all sorts of different things, not just cards. You can use them for cutting through felt, and that makes really nice sort of decorations, and cotton fabric. You can use them for embellishments on quilts as well as cards and scrapbooking. Loads and loads of different things you can do with these. The price for these is £20 or $25. Platinum price is just £16 or $20 for all of these lovely animals. I think they really are sort of show-stopping, and the demos you made are absolutely gorgeous. We were talking about songs earlier when my cable came out. Lynn Morton says, Crafty Man is my favourite song done by Ben. And Jean says the same. Peggy Sue says, I love a Crafty Can. I'd forgotten about that one. That was really good, wasn't it? And actually being able to see how they made that as well when you had... oh gosh, I can't remember his name. I was going to say him. It was Adam. That was it. Adam in the green suit running around the studio. It was excellent. Very, very good. Joyce Powell says, I got my mini cutter and I love it. I have to give it a play last night. So easy to use. I'm glad that everyone's enjoying the show today. The next item we're going to look at is over here. Hold on. Where'd it come? It's got the... This is the one I need. These are a creator card dies that we've got here. This first one here is your bow. It really is quite a significant die. You've got quite a lot of metal here to create this card. You can cut, you can see how we've cut it out here, but as it a creator card on this front part of the card, it makes a really beautiful design. And I suppose you could use it with a little bit of acetate around the back to make it sort of more of a overall kind of design. So that is your bow. This is your dragonfly. I mean, that is just stunning, absolutely beautiful, really delicate kind of look to all those dragonflies there. And the next one I'm going to show you is your proud peacock. Beautiful. This is not the right bundle. Okay. This is the one I'm going to talk about then. Do you know what? Nicola said it's got a dragonfly on it. They both have dragonflies on it. No, that's not your fault. It's my fault. for my form. Right. I don't have a lot of luck with stamps. They don't stay on the boards. When I use them, they don't stay on the boards. It's me. It's all right for everyone else. It's not all right for me. These are gorgeous. I saw these the other week. I thought they were really clever. So you've got the die here to cut the shape for the actual stamp. So you can cut into the card. Look at that here. So you've got the stamp here, and you can create this beautiful card here. With that stamp, and look at the way you can colour that in. Really brilliant for anybody who really does love their colouring, wants to explore more colouring, perhaps you want to try a different colouring medium. You've got everything in here to create the card, including all your sentiments. So this is your dragonfly. The next one is your butterfly. Again, the same thing. You've got the stamps, and you can use your stamps separately. You don't have to use them with the die if you didn't want to, but you're going to get some sentiments in there as well. And then you've got Thinking of You with those little birds. Again, very, very pretty cards, nice and easy to use. Make quite small cards, which sometimes is a nice thing rather than going for a massive card. The whole collection, so 3 of these, £19.48 or $22.46. Platinum price is £15.58 or $17.97. You're going to be you've got some samples of these ones over there, have you, Jan?
I sure have.
Yep.
We're going to do a demo with them. I've just pulled one of each out as a sample because again, you know, if you like your colouring, these are stunning. So whether you want to use them on that smaller size, which is approximately about just under 4 inches by just under 5 inches on the dimension of the rectangle. But again, building it up, you know, with those mats and layers. So you've got the butterfly there. We have got that gorgeous dragonfly. So again, doing the same there, just building it up. If you want to keep it as a smaller card, you can, but I just think they're nice, you know, using the stamps that come with them. And then finally, we've got that lovely set with the birdies in. And this is the one that I'm going to demo. So again, that one's just been made into one of those little diorama cards where you can see through into the back there. So you've got that little element of shadow going on behind it. So again, you know, depending on what level of colouring you're at, it is entirely your choice. So I'm going to pick that Thinking of You one with the birds. Okay, and again, you're going to get the metal work and then the stamp set that works with that metal work. You can see there how that fits inside. Now, the easiest way that I found to do this is to actually cut this first. Normally, I stamp and then cut, but with these particular dies, I found it's easier to get it lined up if I do the die cutting first, Jan, not the stamping. So what I'm going to do is bring in my plate. I've got some Nina cardstock again, and I'm going to pop this one in place with the external edge. Okay. So you could cut this right into the front of your card. Without that external edge, this would cut into your card and have it as your card front. I'm actually going to cut it out as a topper, so I want to put that extra layer with it, all right? And it's got, you can see there's a nice little frame border around the edge. So just make sure, wherever possible, that you've got a nice even space all the way around the edge. And again, go for the tape to make sure that it stays in the right place. And then we're going to pop that through the machine first and cut out our piece, and then I'm going to stamp into that piece, because I find personally, again, you know, other people might do it the other way around. If you're buying into these, try it both ways. Try stamping first and cutting out, try cutting out and then stamping, and see which is your go-to. There's no right or wrong. This is what I've just found. I've used these sets on more than one occasion, and I've just found that actually doing it this way, for me, I just find a little bit easier to get it all lined up, even with the stamping platform. Controversial. Nicola's just saying that our Debbie Fisher does the stamping first and then cuts out. So yeah, that just proves that there is more than one way, okay? Now, I always think that if you stamp and colour and then you don't get your die lined up in the right place, you've spent an awful lot of time colouring in, and you could end up ruining it if you don't get it in the right place. So, you know, horses for courses, it's entirely as you want to do it. But having this now, I can actually pop this in the centre of here. I'm just going to anchor it at the sides here. Just make sure that those are out of the way of the stamp. And then when you take the stamp out now, I can see now directly over the top where this wants to lay within my stamp. So I can just check and make sure that those are going to fit. You're going to get that nice little white border around it again. And I'm quite happy with how that's positioned. And again, this is the beauty of having this system whereby I can now pick that up and I know that it's in the perfect place to stamp on here. Now again, I've used a combination on this one actually. I've started out with my alcohol markers and then I actually got my colouring pencils out and just added a bit of definition with my colour blend pencils over the top of the alcohol markers. So again, I've gone for the grey for this one. We're going to stamp that out onto there, and as I say, I'm confident now that that's lined up in the right place. Make sure you're right over the top of it, and I advise standing up because if you're sat, you can move it. There is a little bit of give in the springs. So right over the top, and you want to go straight down onto your piece of card. Again, make sure that it's all had even pressure so that all that ink transfers. And then fingers crossed, we should have that now positioned right in the space, all right? And if I pop you that over a piece of cardstock.
Oh, look at that,
or
it's
over
gorgeous.
you can see that all that stamping and you've got that lovely little white border all the way. Now I find that easier personally, but there is nothing to stop you doing that stamped effect and then lining up this with it and cutting it out. So as I say, if you're buying into these today or if you already have them and you've maybe not got them out and used them yet, try it both ways and see what works for you. And then literally from there, take my piece of cardstock. Well, in fact, I'm not going to spend an age colouring again because you've seen us do some of the colouring. But I've actually taken my alcohol markers again to do the bulk of the colouring. And then I've used some of my colour blend pencils just to add a little bit of detail over the top there. So you can see here how vibrant those colours are. So most of it is alcohol. And then just round the edges and a little bit of detail, I've just added some of those gorgeous wax colour blend pencils around the bird's wings and things, just to add that depth to it. All right, so again, depending on what stage you're at, and I like to actually cut this twice. This one is just one layer of Nina, and the Nina is not quite as heavy as some of the cardstock, so I've cut it again in the multi-purpose card and stuck them together, so I've now got quite a decent, you know, solid piece there. Because you've got a lot of gaps in it, I just find that this can be a little bit flimsy. Again, personal choice, you don't have to, it is an optional sort of part of the process. And then this time I thought we'd completely mix it up. So I had out on my desk some of that gorgeous printed acetate that we've had on the shows recently. And I thought, let's make a whole acetate card. Okay, so I've taken a piece from my, my pad, which I believe was the 12 inches. Yeah, and I've scored it at 6 down the centre. And all the acetate comes with that lovely coating. It does look a little bit foggy, a bit misty. So yeah, be aware of it and take that coating off. And you've got, we're going to actually make a full clear kind of acetate card. All right, so that's my card blank. And then I was going to mount this little guy just on, I've got some, this is out of my stash that has got like a gradient in it. And I just thought that was really nice behind it because you've got sort of that light and dark going on behind it again. And again, I've put it onto a piece of that satin silver mirror card. So this is going to be my background piece and this one's going to fit over the top, and I've just left it big enough that there's a little tiny border of the turquoise showing round the outside. So again, we'll go with the wet glue round here. I think I'm nearly ready for a refill in here. I used it, so yeah, just round the edge here, round the frame, so that we get a nice stick there. And then in where we've got that solid card, just to make sure that it's all stuck down well. Okay, so I don't want that to seep out, so I'm just going to take those sort of bits where it's blobbed. Okay, and then we're going to position this one on here with just that tiny little border around the edge. And this is going to be my sort of focal point in the centre of the card.
Are they green chaffinches?
Do you know, I'm not an authority on birds.
Not an ornithologist?
I'm not quite sure what kind of, what birds. I know certain ones, you know, like the more everyday birds, and I know what a robin is, and I know what a parrot is, but when you get into these kinds, I assumed there was some kind of finch, but as I say, I'm not an authority.
No,
so
I think just the colours made me think of it.
Yeah.
Where I live, we have loads of parrots everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's a story that somebody had parrots and they released them into Richmond Park, and they have just gone, they've just bred like you wouldn't believe, like rabbits basically. And you see whole swarms, flocks of them just going around, but like proper green parrots, you know, that
amazing,
kind of size. In the garden all the time. It's
you tend to think of them as being more tropical, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I do, yeah. So all I'm
not.
going to do with this one then is I'm going to pop this on the front of the card. So I've just put, because it's acetate, I've just popped a couple of pieces of my red line tape. I find that the best adhesive for acetate. And it's not quite, my card's square and the topper isn't, which is unusual for me because I do normally like things the same, but I just thought actually it looks okay. And I just wanted to use that length of the acetate that was 12 inches long, but I actually quite like this sort of dimension here. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is on the inside, I've cut exactly the same size panel as what we had here and done the silver around the outside. And then I've just chosen a sentiment out of my compendium here that says, thinking of you on your special day. And again, I'm going to do the same on the inside. Now, I didn't put tape on that one for some reason. So we'll just grab some of my red line tape and just pop a couple of strips down the edge there, just to secure that in place. And this is going to sit directly under that front panel. It's the same size so that when it's closed, you won't see this one until you actually open the card up. So again, we can take that one off. And what I'm going to do to get them lined up is I'm going to put this over the one at the front here. All right, so that I know that it's going to be directly underneath it, and then close this one and pray that I've got it the right way up. Okay.
That's a clever idea.
There we go. All right. So again, just reinforce that fold line in the acetate because it is quite stubborn. It's really nice, thick acetate. And then if for any reason you don't like all this in the background, you know, again, you can just cut another piece to stick on the inside and then do the same again on the back, maybe with a white layer on for your message again. Yep. Or, you know, if you don't mind that, there is room to actually write a little message in here. But I just love the idea. Oh, and I've not put my sentiment on. Again, I've just been in my my stash there. In fact, no, this one's actually from the set here. It's got a thinking of you, all my love, and missing you on this particular one. Yeah, so we're just going to pop that on the corner there, which is what I linked up with the one inside. So again, this is just going to go down at the bottom. The pearls are out again. I can't do a card without the little pearls on.
No, you need a little bit of an embellishment on the card, don't you? Little sequiny, beady.
Oh, I just, you know, as I say, I've got a box full of them, so I have to use them. So let's just move that out of the way, and then we'll stand you that one up. And you know, it stands up perfectly. But just something different with that see-through card base. Yeah. Just makes it so different.
It does. I never thought about using it. No, the acetate like that. Yeah. That is gorgeous. Love it. So these are the Animal Antics, not the ones that I got out. The Animal Antics Creator card. See? What you didn't see was me doing this earlier on, trying to make it stick. It doesn't stick. It's not meant for, I'm not meant to make this stick. This is your Dragonfly Dream. So this works in exactly the same way as you've just seen Jan using the one with the birds, but really beautiful selection of dies and stamps in this collection. This is your beautiful butterfly. And then finally, you've got the one with the little birds. No, nothing to stop you from making them look more Christmassy. I suppose you make them look like robins, perhaps. £19.48 to £22.46. Your platinum price is £15.58 or $17.96. Loads of people loving that. Donna says, loving the use of the acetate Jan. Jean says, Jan's so unique. Candy says, I just love your designs. Cool. Lois, very pretty card. Thank you. I really like the idea of using acetate. I'm going to take that as another little thing I'm going to write here and take that away with me. We are going to give you the opportunity to check out your baskets, and we'll see you in a couple of moments.
We get to know people from places and walks of life that we wouldn't come across in our everyday life if it wasn't for Crafters TV and doing what we do.
I got so many lovely comments from people when I started doing the presenting, and it was just really such a lovely feeling. And it's nice that people keep messaging in. You know, we see the same people. We know you can build up that kind of relationship with those people. So it's just the fact that people like what we do and they're pleased. And I do love it when people send us photographs of the items that they've made.
We talk about customers, but really they go in as a customer, come out as a friend. The support that I get is amazing. The messages I get are amazing.
Me personally, it is personal interaction. I've never had the best of health. I've always been open about that with our viewers at Crafters TV. So many people are in the same situation as me health-wise. Other people have got a completely different health issues. They understand and they relate to what I'm going through, what others are going through. So whether we interact on a crafting basis or whether we interact on a health basis, a personal basis, we're all there to support one another. It is incredible.
The reaction of viewers when they come to meet us is worth all of the early mornings when we have to get up for our early morning shows.
Other customers come on as craft ambassadors and things like that, craft along with us, and being able to actually chat with them on air. I love it. I really love that connection with them.
We've had lots of shows where we've done like craft alongs, especially where we've had viewers craft along with us. We had a particular viewer, Joy, who joined us once before, and she literally made me cry on air, and Joe, because the things she said about us, it really was quite humbling that there are people out there that watch us and invite us into their living rooms and really treat us like family.
There once was a man who was very crafty. His name was Craig from Carnoustie. He joined the team on Crafters TV. Oh, crafty Scottish man craft. Soon may the crafty man come to bring us demos and inspiration. Each day when his crafting is done, he might do a Facebook Live. He wanted to prove he was the man, but he lost at craft wars to Leanne. But 2 weeks later he beat Jan. Oh, crafty Scottish man craft. Soon may the crafty man come to bring us demos and inspiration. Each day when his crafting is done, he might do a Facebook Live. He did so well on Crafters TV, Sarah sent him off to Germany, where he did some work for QVC. Oh, crafty Scottish man craft. Soon may the crafty man come to bring us demos and inspiration. Each day when his crafting is done, he might do a Facebook Live. His crafting skills, they aren't half bad. In fact, I'd say they're totally rad. That's mainly down to his favourite foam pads. Oh, crafty Scottish man craft. Soon may the crafty man come to bring us demos and inspiration. Each day when his crafting is done, he might do a Facebook Live. The crafters, they loved him a lottie for his charm and skill. They went quite potty, they nicknamed him the Hardy Scotty. Oh, crafty Scottish man craft. Soon may the crafty man come to bring us demos and inspiration. Each day when his crafting is done, he might do a Facebook Live. In the crafting world, he's standing tall. He's the best Scottish crafter of them all. Catch him Monday to Friday on his wake-up call. Oh, crafty Scottish man craft. Soon may the crafty man come to bring us demos and inspiration. Each day when his crafting is done, he might do a Facebook Live.
You mentioned you liked that song. We found it for you. We do all like that song. I do have a little bit of a jig. To be honest, any song I have a little bit of a jig. Jan, I have to tell you, Catherine says, can I say a very big thank you This has been the most informative show for me. I've only asked on Facebook today about colouring and stamping. You are so calm, explain everything clearly, not rushing, and show techniques beautifully. She has got one question. People are recommending tri-blends. However, what's an alcohol pen and how do they differ? But thank you very much again.
You are more than welcome. That is the whole ethos of us here at Crafters TV. I love the fact that we've got that immediate interaction with our audience. You know, there aren't many places where you can actually ask a question and either get a live answer or even a demo, you know, for an answer. And that's one of the things that I love about the aspect of this. And obviously the teacher inside me, for those of you that don't know me, I worked in primary school for 14 years, teaching children that had sort of learning difficulties. So it was sort of very, very rewarding, very frustrating sometimes, but very rewarding. So I think the teacher inside of me has translated straight into this job, and it allows me to sort of break those things down step by step, which I really, really enjoy. So as far as an alcohol pen is concerned, if I just bear with me while I grab one of each,
okay,
and I will show you the difference.
Fantastic.
So we've got several ranges of alcohol markers, starting with our classiques, which are sort of, for want of a better word, a base range. Now, I don't like calling them that because, you know, they are equally as good as the rest of the pens. And then we go up to an illustrator marker. And then you have got things like your tri-blends and your tri-blend brush markers. Now the difference between all the pens are the nib combinations on them. Most of the pens are dual tipped. My tri-blend markers, there's a clue there in the title, are a 3 nib marker. So again, if I bring one of these into the fray as well, you can see here that we've got different sections in it. So the Classic have a bullet nib, and then on the other end, they have a chisel nib, which is great for colouring in sort of larger spaces and things like that. The illustrators have a bullet nib and a brush nib on the end. Now, the tri-blend markers differ slightly in that there are 3 pens in one. So if I have a look on the back of here, I've got a light, a medium and a dark of the same colour family. Again, all bullet nibs on there. So the alcohol is solvent based. So that's the biggest difference between those and our aqua markers. So the aqua there suggests that there's water involved in them. So the 2 different pens here, I've just chosen 2 of them just at random to show you. The blue barrels are aqua markers. Again, I have to have them the right way around. The OCD says they've got to be the right way around. And the black barrels are the alcohol. So this is a water-based pen with pigment in, dye pigment in there to give you the colour. This is a solvent-based pen with the dye and the pigment in there to give you the colour. They do behave very, very differently. A solvent base, the alcohol markers are primarily for colouring. All right, so they are actually sort of what I call the flat colouring, which is just 1 layer, or you can take it to that 3 pen blend. Tri-blends being a great one to start with because we've already chosen that light, medium and dark shade for you to achieve that blend. But a solvent won't really mix with anything else other than another solvent. Right. Okay, so mainly for colouring in. On different mediums, it doesn't have to be cardstock. I've used my alcohol markers straight onto MDF and things like that, especially the ones that have the chisel nib are great for going over MDF straight onto the wood. So yeah, so that is the biggest difference. The aqua pens, as it suggests, are water-based, and the minute you have a water-based product, it plays beautifully with other water-based products. So you may have seen us use these and scribble it out onto the mat. I know Sheena loves these. These are her go-to markers. She likes the watercolouring more so than the alcohol colouring. Scribbles them out onto the mat, pick them up with a paintbrush, use them like a paint. You can use them with the glycerin to extend them and make them behave like an ink. Again, if you look back through some of our shows, we've demonstrated all these techniques. You can go direct to the card with these, but the water means that you can mix them. For example, I love using my watercolour markers, and instead of using a paintbrush with them, I love using my crystal clear sparkle pen. So this is like a water brush, but it has glitter in that water substrate. And by using this on my craft mat, and picking it up with this one to use, it turns this pen into sparkly ink. So again, you've got lots of different ways. I couldn't do that with the tri-blend. It wouldn't work. The solvent and the water don't mix.
Right.
Once the solvent's dry, you can actually go over the top of it with the glitter marker. But what you have to be aware of is that your alcohol-proof inks that you would use with your alcohol pen is water-based.
Right.
So for example, if you started going too near your line art with the water-based pen, you might disturb the line art. So yeah, two very separate systems, as in solvent-based with the alcohol, water-based with the aqua. Okay, so I hope that explains the differences. Again, if you've still got questions, feel free to come back to us. You know, that's what we're here for. We do the demos as inspiration, but we're here to answer your questions. And as I say, that's one of the things I love about working here on Crafters TV, is that we can talk to our customers, we can explain things like this, we can even demo things if we need to.
Brilliant. Fantastic explanation, Jan. Really, that really was very, very helpful. Lots of people loving that. Jean says, a good idea about the MDF with the chisel end.
Yeah.
And thank you, Jan. And now Christine asked, do you need special cardstock for aqua pens?
Sorry?
Aqua pens.
Aqua pens, I always use the watercolour card.
Right.
Anything that's got water with it, you're going to have more sort of wet product. So the watercolour card is designed for that. It is very, very, I want to say fibrous, and it will soak up a lot of water content. So if you're wanting to sort of do a wash with them, if you scribble the water pens out onto your mat and do the wash across them to make the backgrounds, the watercolour card will stand up to the trick. You can do it on the multi-purpose cardstock, but what you'll find is the wetter it gets, it will start and bring the fibres off the surface. So if you've ever been using any water-based products and you get those little tiny bobbly bits on the surface of your paper, it's because you've over-wet it and it's starting to bring the fibres off the cardstock. So again, when I was stamping earlier and I was talking about the teaching in the classes and people said they couldn't do something, the first thing I would always look at is what products are you using, because more often than not it's the products that maybe aren't quite right that is allowing you to think that you can't do something. So yeah, watercolour products, watercolour card. Alcohol products, you want a smooth cardstock. The watercolour card will just drink up your alcohol ink and you'll use probably 2-3 times as much ink as you need to, because it will soak into the card.
Right.
You want a cardstock that it's going to sit on the surface so you can do that blending technique.
Fantastic, that's great. Right, we should start the vote. I have got another couple of comments, but we'll start the vote for demo of the show. So we need to do demo of the show and demo of the day.
Yep.
Demo of the century. Right. Over to Jan to show us your demos.
Right, so at the beginning of the show then we started with those little cheeky pandas.
Oh.
And we did that little trio there. We used all 3 of the stamps there. Used one of the... that one, still get it back to front after all this time. One of the sentiments here and one of the sentiments on the inside there. So that was number 1.
Yep.
Then we did that lovely giraffe where we did the die cutting, and actually, it's not obvious, but he is actually built up on foam pads there. And we had that, as I say, one of my favourite card styles at the minute is the one with the cutout panel inside. And I did forget when I was demoing, when I look back, I realised that I'd actually made a sentiment to go inside there, so I just very quickly stuck that in under that main panel. So that was number 2. Number 3, we had a play with those gorgeous little little friends, little Christmas friends. I've not quite got him finished with his, he just needs his little piece on his hat there. But again, you know, just pop in these, if you want to make them as tree decorations, you know, if you're making them for your children or your grandchildren, you could put the names on the back, or baby's first Christmas, something like that. They're just so, so cute. So that was number 3. And then number 4, we've just used those lovely colourable creator card dies, and we made that acetate card with the little birds on the front. So 1, 2, 3 or 4. I have got one demo left, but we don't want to leave it too late. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to fit that one in actually, but we will give it a go.
Yeah, okay,
so
brilliant.
1, 2, 3 or 4.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Get your votes in, please, as soon as you can. That'd be brilliant. Now, Anne has asked, has said, that's a great info on markers. I made a card, an alcohol ink with colour, and I thought I'd put some sparkle pen over it, and it ended up a muddy mess. So your explanation as to why that happened is really, really helpful. And I suppose, actually, you know, we sort of forget about these things. So having that little prompt to remind us about not mixing the two different types of things is really useful.
Yeah, it's like opposites attract. So if you're using alcohol colouring, your stamping ink is water-based.
Yeah.
And if you're using water-based colouring products, your stamping ink is alcohol-based. And that's the quickest way, thinking like opposites attract. So the minute you go in with a water brush, like I said, with your alcohol-proof ink, which is actually water-based, there is a danger of moving that line out, and then it bleeds into the colour, and you end up with all sorts of issues. So yeah, it's just about thinking what works with what cardstock am I using, and just take it from there. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Right, we're going to get started on the next demo in just a moment. These are going to be using the Animal Edge Stamp and Die collection. So you've got 5 different animals in here. You saw one earlier when we were in that big collection, not the same one, they're different animals. This first one here is You Make Me Happy. You've got cows and you've got sheep here. So you've got a selection of dies, and they're just cutting the top part, so you can have the bottom part so it can sort of stand on the edge of a card, or you could cut out, you can fussy cut around the bottom, of course. You've got a selection of stamps including not only the little animals but the sentiments, and also some little embellishments in there as well, and that's the same you've got in each one. So this is You Make Me Happy. Then we have Pride and Joy with the tigers and the lions. We then have Positively Perfect. Oh, I love a pun. Look at that, they're absolutely gorgeous. Really nice type of collection of stamps and dies. And this is Nuts About You with the little deer and the squirrels. Great collection once again, £33 or $42. Platinum price is £26.40 or $33.60. Catherine Lee says, thank you very much. I should have guessed you were a teacher. You're so calm. She really appreciates your help. Now, I am going to say we've got the answer for demo of the show. So let me let you know what that is, and we can start the vote for demo of the day. Demo of the show is number 2.
Right, that doesn't surprise me. I do love that one myself. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think lots of people love the idea of using acetate. I think that's become quite surprising for people, and me as well. But well done, that is lovely. We'll start the vote for demo of the day, if you don't mind. Have you got them all over there?
I have.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want them over there?
Yeah. Oh, shall I come and get them?
Do you want to come and have them? Well, 1, 2, 3. There you go.
It's difficult to choose. This is the problem. We need some craft experts that aren't particularly good. So we're like, well, that's a surefire winner, but actually it just makes it really difficult. Right, first one is this one with the pretty flamingos standing up. So that was all balanced on top of each other. So that is from Wake Up Call this morning. This next one is that absolute beauty with that glitter paste, a stunning one. So that is the one we did in the second show today. And then finally you have Gerald the giraffe. Actually, I think it's Genevieve the giraffe there. That's number 3. So please, if you could get your votes in, 1, 2, and 3. Right, we'll get started with the demo and see how much we can get done.
Right, I have got a lot of it prepared, so I will talk you through the key bits and then we'll just pop the card together. So I've chosen the Pride and Joy, which has got your little lion there, and it's got the tiger. These are so cute, and they're like an edgeable die. So again, you're going to get some of your metal work. It looks a little bit odd when you first take it out of the packet, but all will become clear. And then each one has its own little stamp set with it as well. So you can see you get 2 of each animal. One of them, we've got him sitting, and then we've got the little lion sleeps tonight. And then we've got the little tiger there, and one of them sat. And then you've got lots of little accent dies and sentiments to go with it. So again, I've got my stamping platform at the ready. You can see this has been used so much, you know, within the show. It really is my #1 piece of equipment. Again, I've gone straight for the Nina cardstock because, like I've said, and I sometimes think step away from the alcohol markers, Jan, but they are my go-to colouring product. So unless I'm particularly focusing on a different type of colouring medium, more often than not it's what I use. So I've got that nice smooth Nina cardstock. Just drawn myself a little faint line here for what I wanted for the size of the project. And the idea of these is that they sit. So let's take the little tiger, the little lion off here, because we want him to sit here on the edge, and this is where your character on the edge comes in. So he's actually going to go on that line. This is going to be the part that fits in the card, and then he's going to stand proud. So once we've cut round him, I'm going to snip away this part of the card. And you can see here now that these bits match up to the said animal. So it doesn't have a cutting edge along the bottom. It's going to stay attached to my card here. So I'm going to do the stamping first. Again, if you prefer to do the cutting first, like we did with the last one, try it both ways again and see which you prefer. I'm going to flick to my brown again because it just fit in better with the animals there. And again, ink him up. These are gorgeous little stamps, and there's such a beautiful array of animals in them. Pop him on there. Okay, we've got him ready. And then what I did is I've also stamped out the little tiger that's standing, and I'm going to show you sort of how you can make them into an individual topper as well. Okay. So what I want to do is just show you the die cutting element of this. So it's just a case of, again, making sure that you can see all your image around here. That die cutting edge again is just in the centre of that metalwork. So just pop it and it will finish hopefully where I've got him sat against the line here. So I've just sort of eyeballed it to get it roughly. I can always snip into it if it's not quite right. And then what we're going to do is tape it down again and pass this through our Gemini. So I'm just going to pop it on my plate there, pop my shims in, and we'll pass that through to give it a cut. So it's going to cut around the edge of the lion, but then it's going to stop when it gets to that line that I'd drawn for positioning on there. So again, when we have a look at this now, whoops, come back, put those back over there. Take the metal work off here now with the tape. Oh, there we go. Didn't want to come off that. And then all I'm going, you can see how this is actually, so if this was going to be your card, you could fold here and he pops out. But I actually want this to be popped off the top of my card. So I'm going to follow that pencil line and I'm just going to cut in to where that die stopped there and actually free this part. And then I'm going to do the same at this side. So again, just take that pencil line away and I want him literally popped up out of the card. So then I'm going to sort of skip along where we've got here. So I've coloured him in and I've just matted it onto another piece ready. So he's sat nicely, nice and proud on there. And then what I did on a separate piece of card was actually cut the little tiger out. And again, he's got his own die. Now it has a piece across here to stabilise it because there is a tiny, tiny little die cut piece, and I can just see there's a bit left in there, that cuts out this space just between where he stood here. Okay, so they've bridged it with metal, but it doesn't have any die cutting edge here. So yes, it goes across the middle of him. You think, oh, it's going to cut him in half, but it doesn't cut where the legs are. So this is actually done in the same manner as this one that I've just cut out on the edge. And then I've just taken my scissors and I've just fussy cut the rest of him round his feet to make him an individual piece. And I just think they're a little great addition to have like this, as well as that topper section. So to pop it together, I've got a piece of plaid paper from one of our pads there. And again, we're just going to mat and layer this. And then I've got a card blank at the ready that we're going to pop this one onto. So again, that one's going to go on like so. And then I wanted him to go down here, but he looked as if he was floating around a little bit. So again, this is just a piece of tape out of my washi tape box, just a little thin strip, which has sort of anchored him a little bit. It looks as if he's actually stood on something instead of him just floating about. So we're going to pop him on the back. And again, I've just used some scraps of card there to actually build him up a little tiny bit. Doesn't always have to be foam pad, you know, it depends how much height. So sometimes it's just scraps of cards that are left over, which are enough to build a bit of dimension. So he's going to go at the bottom there like so. And then if I bring in my card blank, I've just made a straightforward card, and I think again we're looking at that 6 3/4, which is just right to fit in a 7-inch envelope. And I've gone for a plain sort of stripe piece to complement those plaid pieces on the front there. Just tried to go with colour tones that match both the lion and the tiger there. That one's going to go on here, like so. And then I've taken the little paw print stamps from our stamp set here, and I've just popped some of those as an accent at the bottom. And then we're going to pop this one in the corner here at the bottom. So I want him to sort of be in the parameters of the card rather than stuck out, because I want it to be able to fit in an envelope. So again, I've gone with enough space for it to fit in that card blank. And then we're going to pop this one down in that bottom corner, just sort of about an equal gap. And I'm going to use the lines on there on the paper to see if I can get it reasonably straight, like so. I haven't put anything, well, I did actually bridge him with a little bit of card, but I haven't stuck him, he's fine like that. And then just to add a bit of decoration to, oh, I've forgotten a little bit. Let me just see if I can slide that under the edge. My happy birthday greeting was just going to slide, yep, under there, like so. Just managed to get that in before the glue cured. And then I thought, right, what kind of event shall we have? And I thought this would be great for a little one.
That's great.
So again, I've just used some of my number dies out of my stash. I think these are from a very, very old Sarah Signature collection, and they are a go-to for me, I must admit, because they're a lovely size. Going back a number of years, we did a birthday collection many, many, many moons ago, and it had this collection of numbers in, and every time I've used these time and time again. Stamped out this from a different stamp set, and I've just used a little wooden cocktail stick just to pop on there to make it look like a flag. I've got some scraps of what was left over from my, I don't waste anything, so even the scraps from the foam pads there are going on here. 2 today. And then just to complement the darker colour here, I've gone with a couple of little buttons this time rather than the gems.
Nice.
You know, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So again, I've just got a little bit of red line tape on the back of these. It's a nice way of popping these on. And I'm just going to use those as embellishments instead of the gems. So yeah, I was just going to say no gems inside, but there they are. There they are. Look, they're on the number 2. Yeah, I thought we'd got away without any on this one, but no, I just can't do it.
No.
I love my little gems.
I don't blame you. I think gems are the way to go.
Pearls, gems, crystal accents, whatever. And you can see there. And then I've actually gone with this one. You are my pride and joy. Okay. And again, I've just decorated the inside bit to match. Little scraps that were left over, that same stamp, and then the sentiment with plenty of space inside to actually match the front there. So if we turn you that one round, there you go.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, I really like that. Oh, Jana, that's great. Loads of people liking that. Sue Benson says that paper is perfect. Look at that, perfect. Stephanie says that's precious, Jan. So adorable from Cheryl. Lois says super sweet card, and Candy says, oh, so cute. I do have a winner. Demo of the day is, unsurprisingly, it's that one.
Oh, wow.
Well done.
Yeah.
I think it's gorgeous, absolutely lovely. What a great day we've had, Jan. I've learned so much.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think, if I remember, if my memory serves me rightly, we're back together again next week, Becky.
We are. Is that the next time you're in?
I'm back next Thursday, yeah. So it's been a weekly occurrence. Like I said, I'm like buses. You don't see me for a few weeks and then I turn up every week, yeah. So I am back next Thursday. For the life of me, I can't think what with at the minute because my brain's just shut down now because it's like 2 minutes to 8. But Becky and I are back together and we will see you then.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we've got a cartload at the end of the day. It's Thursday, isn't it?
Oh, yes, yeah, it is, yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see, because I think that we've only just found out exactly what's going to be on it, haven't we? We're going to have a quick look. We get sort of a week or so to know what's going to be on our shows. I'm going to be back here tomorrow. I'm sorry, you've got me for quite a long time now. I'm going to be with Debbie Fisher tomorrow. We have Playcrafts, right? I have to say, I love Playcrafts, right? Do we know what kind of game it's going to be tomorrow? A TV show related game. Oh, quite like the idea of that. As long as it wasn't GCSE questions like it was one time, and I really struggled with that. And the next show we've got is a craft along, and we're doing mini makes, and we've got a guest. Is that Stacey we've got with a guest? Crafty Stacey Lou we've got with us on the craft along, and then we've got Craft Vault afterwards. So again, a fun packed day. Debbie and I are going to be together. I think we're here together Saturday and Sunday. So again, this is always your opportunity to ask us questions. As you've seen today with Jan has been able to answer the questions that people have, and that is a beauty, as Jan said, about working on Crafters TV. If there's something you're not sure of, don't feel afraid. We've all been there. We all know, none of us know exactly what we're going to be getting up to in the future. So if this is something you've just started doing and you've got lots of questions, this is your opportunity. We will be here tomorrow, bright and early, well, 11 o'clock, to start Play Your Crafts Right. I do hope you have a lovely evening. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, Jan. It's been a great day, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow.